So hello everybody, welcome again. In this one, we're going to be talking about functions. So functions are just basically a way to hold a chunk of your code. So most of the time, people really overlook these functions, especially beginners. They overcopy code, and in my opinion, that is just not a right way to do it. So let me give an example. So actually, to create a function is you're going to use the def keyword. This means define. Then we're going to define a function name, and here I can just say underscore hello, and in the brackets I'm just going to put anything. This is actually how to create a function. You have to have everything I'm showing you right now: the def keyword, the name of the function, and some brackets. Okay, then also a colon, never forget that. Now in the indented place I can do print, and here I can actually put in hello world. So now to call this function, what I can do is say underscore hello, and this should call this function if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to run this now, and hopefully you should see hello world in the console, as you can see here. So I can say hello world, comma Davis, and that's quite nice, and it's going to say hello world Davis. But what if there are many users coming into our app every single time, and I don't want to be saying hello world Davis, hello world Davis, and I want to be putting their names in there? What I can do is here I can put in a name. So a name is basically like a parameter you're putting into this function, and you can use the function, sorry, you can use that variable, or should I say parameter, anywhere inside this function. So here I can put something like a comma, and I put a name. And over here, when we are calling the say hello function, we can put in a name. I can now put in Davis, and the good thing about this is I can duplicate this a couple of times. Control V, Control V, and here I can put in like John, or let's say Mike. So yeah, so if I run this now, you should see hello world Davis, hello world John, hello world Mike. So now the good thing is that I didn't have to type these print statements all out again. So yeah, I know you may be saying, well, this is not as helpful or as productive as you expected, but I'm going to show you something now. So I'm back with an example, and now this is quite complex, but I want you to follow me, okay, and stick with me. So as you can see here, we have some variable called accounts, and is equal to a dictionary containing just one account. And let's just say this is the account number here, this 12 is the account number, and whatever is inside here is the details of that account. So we have the balance to be 8,000 and the pin to be 1334, I guess. So now we created a function called auth. Okay, so this means like authorize or something like that. Then the function takes in two things: the account number and the pin. So if the account number is not in the account variable, so if the account number is not found inside this account dictionary, then we want to return false. So essentially what the return is doing is basically saying give this function that value at the end of the day. So over here, when we call it, we can actually print this thing out. So I'm just going to print it out, I guess. But before we run this, I'm going to explain everything first. So as it says, if the account number is not in accounts, return false. So it's going to print false, and this return ignores every other thing inside the code. So any part of your code that you have the return statements, okay, especially in a function, you can't put a return like this because it's going to throw an error. It has to be in a function or something like that. So anywhere you have it, it's going to cut the code at this point. So if there is no account number, it's not going to continue with every other thing. It's just going to return false. That means like send false back to here. And also, yeah, let me just remove this and put this in like feedback, I guess, and it's going to be equal to this, so that you actually see what I'm talking about. And now we're going to print feedback, I guess. So after returning false, that's only if the account number is not found. But if it's found, we go over to the next line and it says get that particular account, and in this case that will be 12, okay, I guess. Then inside that we have the balance. Sorry, I forgot to add this here. So now what we're getting is basically from here to here, and now we're going to check if pin is not equal to account. Then in here I'm going to just do pin. So if the pin doesn't match the particular person's pin, then we return false again. But if it does, we're going to print access granted and return true. So now this has been quite a hassle to wrap your head around. So now we're just going to test it out. So in the auth, we're going to put 12 as the account number, and the pin, we're going to put something wrong. In this case, like 5732, something like that. So if I run this now, you should see a false because we're returning a false. So when we return the false gets stored in this feedback, and the feedback is getting printed here. But if we get the pin right, that's I think 1334, I guess, So I come back here 1234. If I run this, you should see access granted and true, because when we returned it, we're returning a true. And yeah, that sends it back here. You can actually send anything in here. We can actually send the person's account in here. So if I run this now, you should see the person's account balance and all that. So you can basically return any data type. If you like, you can put a 1 here. If you return it, that should be a 1 there. So hopefully you get the point of functions. I know this may be my least comprehensive tutorial, but I'm just trying my best to walk you through things that we have learned before, and yeah, try to build up on all that.